If you need help, then dial your operator. If you need help, then dial your operator.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. My name is Brother Yakub.
Brother Ananias.
And this is another episode of The Karen Effect. We expose the lying, crying white woman, you know? And this Sheetamite we about to talk about today, she took this sister life. You know, the sister name was AJ, and she had 4 children. You know, 4 children. And she stayed in the suburban area where Esau resided, you know? And we have to do these episodes on Esau, man, because a lot of our people still have faith and love for our enemies, but yet they slay us. Anytime you want to live next door to them, anytime you want to party with them, or, you know what I'm saying, have your kids around them, or just try to get away from the hood, you cannot escape Karens. You can't escape Esau, because Esau, he got a perpetual hatred, you know. A lot of times we always like to blame the white guy, the evil white man, which he is. He's the evil on the planet Earth. But
Right.
You got to remember that that woman that birthed him, she was evil as well. You know? So we're going to get into the article and show you what happened to the sister, the mother of 4, Sister AJ, on how they killed and murdered, how this white woman killed and murdered this lady in cold blood. Cold blood. And it was said that the sister went next door to talk about an issue, what the Sheetamite did to her son. She popped her son in the head with a iPad. That what was told. And the sister went to confront her like any normal person would. Something happened to their kid, they go to the neighbor, knock on the door, you know, and so on, and discuss the situation. But Esau don't think that they have to, you know, be confronted about anything. So let's get into the article.
All right. Before we move any further, just want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by She-sau for the abundance of all things. You know, for everybody tuning in that will tune in. Hey, we appreciate you. We're A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and it's another Karen Effect. So we're going into this sister that was put to death, unfortunately, one of our own, but we're going to read it anyway. This is an article from CNN, and it reads, a black mother of 4 was shot and killed by a neighbor. Her family wants the woman who shot her arrested. You want to play the video?
Come on, let's play that video, King.
All right.
That is the attorney for a woman shot and killed in Florida by her neighbor. Well, they're demanding an arrest, as you heard. They say that A.J. Owens, a black mother of 4 young children, died Friday night after a dispute with her neighbor who shot her through a front door. According to a family lawyer, Owens' children were playing outside when the neighbor engaged them and threw a pair of skates at them. The lawyer says she also shouted racial slurs, and when Owens went to confront her, that woman shot and killed her. Carlos Suarez is in Miami following all of this. And there are so many questions this morning, but key for the legal team is why this woman hasn't been arrested. Do we know?
Well, Poppy, the sheriff's office is saying that they're looking into whether this shooting was in self-defense, but that's an argument that the victim's family says is just not possible. 35-year-old A.J. Owens, as you said, was killed on Friday north of Orlando in Ocala, Florida. Authorities said that Owens knocked on the door of a neighbor who minutes earlier had an issue with Owens' children that were playing outside. Now, the victim's family said that the woman had previously harassed the children, calling them racial slurs and the N-word. Owen's mother said her daughter wanted to know why the woman kept an iPad that the children left behind and why she threw a pair of skates at them. Here's more of what that mother said.
She knocked on Susan's door. A closed, locked door. Door never opened. No. My daughter, my grandchildren's mother, was shot and killed. She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
All right, so the sheriff of Marion County said that the two women were yelling at each other through that front door and that authorities haven't made an arrest yet because of Florida's Stand Your Ground law, adding that authorities, they're still interviewing other neighbors and Owen's 9-year-old son who was standing next to his mom when she was shot through that.
Now, they say they haven't made any arrests because of the Stand Your Ground law. Now, we only know that this happened because she is a Edomite, so-called white woman. Because if it would have been the other way around, she would have been arrested regardless. If that woman would have came in her house, kicked the door off the hinges with a gun in her hand, and the sister would have shot her, she would have been arrested.
Right.
But they trying to say that because they think that they trying to figure out if she was in the right or the wrong during the Stand Your Ground law. She wasn't arrested immediately. That don't happen for us. We always are arrested immediately. We are guilty till proven innocent.
Right on.
You see it?
And
go ahead, Ken.
Now, and a lot of times, hey, it's lucky, and a lot of times we proven guilty again. You know, according to them, we could be innocent. Plenty of brothers and sisters in the jailhouse that didn't do a crime and proven guilty, even though they're innocent, but they proven guilty in this system. We'll play on, King.
Here's a sheriff.
And what we have to rule out is whether the deadly force was justified or not before we can even make the arrest. And sometimes it becomes difficult.
Wow.
And sometimes it becomes an obstacle. But
they arresting us just for driving down the road without a damn license. Or the registration for your car. But here this woman that shot this woman through the door and you hesitant to put her in cuffs. I mean, they got rules where you can legally hold and restrain somebody in the jail cell for like what? I think 48 to 72 hours without cause.
Without cause?
Without cause.
God, man. These people wicked, bro. And how can you say that for right now we not going to arrest her? Now, I believe they have arrested the woman since then. But the thing is, even at that time, that supposed to be an arrest. You know, once you got evidence, you know, it don't take long for a person to look at evidence and say, hey, did she have a weapon? Did you see marks on the lady's face? You know what I'm saying? Did she violently beat this woman or whatever for her to, you know, use assault weapon to kill her? It don't take much evidence to see that. It don't take a long investigation, in so many words, you know, for them to see that, look, this was a crime. This lady was innocent. This lady shot this lady cold-blooded, you know?
Let me go back to it.
Only a temporary obstacle because it will be moved and the final answer will come forward.
All right, so the sheriff said that the neighbors have had issues before with at least 6 calls made to 911 since 2021. The name of that 58-year-old neighbor who shot Owens has not been released.
I wonder why. You know, now they got Owens' name as the victim out there, but her name can't be released right now. I
Right.
guess they're gonna say legal reasons, right? But we all know Esau do that to protect their own people. You know, they're in the business of protecting the wicked, protecting themselves. And they know this lady innocently, this lady violently took this woman without a cause, took her life in front of her children. And I'm pretty sure Eve probably was in the neighborhood just trying to live her life. Like most of our people, when we get next to Esau, we thinking everything will be good. There's no problem. But this was happen. This what happened, Israel, when you start to move closer to your enemy, when you start to be with them. You know, you start to be with your enemies. These things begin to happen. It says, in order to hold you for longer than 72 hours, now including weekends or holidays, the prosecuting attorney's office must file criminal charges. They have up to 72 hours to file charges on people detained in jail by the police. It says, judge or a person must be released.
You see that? So that's going into letting you know that they can hold you up to 72 hours without charging you. So if you're in there for longer than 3 days, then they got to charge you, supposedly. When it come to them. When it come to us, they'll have us in there for weeks and months and years and nobody know about it. You know? But this is something, one of the so-called rules or laws that only applies when dealing with them. You know, it changed constantly for us as Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But I just wanted to show this to let our people know that whether you have committed a crime or not, they still can hold you by their law for up to 48 to 72 hours without charging you. If they don't charge you after 72 hours, they got to let you go.
Man, ain't that something? And you know that was put in for just for Jake. Just for Jake. We're just gonna hold you just because. With no problem. I tell you, man, let's bring this out real quick. This is Zechariah 11 in verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pitying them not. You know? So yeah, they can hold us in prison for 72 hours. You know what I'm saying? Then they could say, hey, I'm not guilty for what I did. Well, it's no problem to let you go. Or else they could just slay you like they did the sister, you know, with no issue, saying she ain't got nobody to come and help her out. The sister single parent home, ain't nobody there. Hey, she ain't got no husband to help her. You know, she in my neck of the woods. I can do what I want to, you know. You know, it said whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And you know this Karen, man, saying that she's not guilty, that she's innocent. I was defending myself. I was self-defense and stand my ground. And we know this lady, man. It like the guy brought out, they said that she had a lot of calls before that time, back in 2021. So they let you know that she's called the police. Maybe the sister have called the police plenty of times, or both of them probably called the police on each other. So that's been an altercation that's been going on. So the lady, they knew damn well that it wasn't, you know, something that just happened. They know they had altercations before, but it's easily go investigate to see whether the situation is ongoing or did it just occur right then, or this is something spontaneously. You know what I'm saying? That lady took that sister life for no damn reason. For no reason, man. You know.
I want to bring this article out right quick. Dealing with that stand your ground law, you know, because as we heard in the video, the sheriff was trying to determine whether or not the situation actually went with the stand your ground law before they could arrest the woman. They didn't want to see if her story checked out, basically, before they decided to arrest her or not. But this is an article by the NCSL, which is the National Conference of State Legislators. And it basically gives a summary of the self-defense and stand your ground law. So I'm going to read that right quick. Say it was updated March 1st of 2023, so it's still relevant. It says the common law principle of castle doctrine, that's what they used to call it, says that individuals have the right to use reasonable force, including deadly force to protect themselves against an intruder in their home. This principle has been codified and expanded by state legislators. In the 1980s, a handful of states laws nicknamed Make My Day laws, Clint Eastwood, ain't it?
Right.
Says addressed immunity from prosecution and use of deadly force against another who unlawfully and forcibly enters a person's residence. So just like the mom on the video was saying, the door was locked. She never opened the door. She knocked on a locked door, and that woman shouted. She never intruded in her house.
Right.
She never opened the door. She never walked in. But that woman tried to use that as a way to an escape. It says in 2005, Florida passed a law related to castle doctrine, expanding on that premise with stand your ground language related to self-defense and duty to retreat. Florida's law states a person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity or who is attacked in any other place where he or she has a right to be has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground and meet force with force, including deadly force, if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm to himself. So she thought that she was going to be able to use that. And hell, it's still early. We don't know how the lawyer is going to deal.
Right on.
This law system that we're dealing in is not built for us as a nation of people. We just living in a world trying to get by. We got our own set of laws we're supposed to be abiding by, but our people don't want to, for the majority. But I just wanted to bring that out right quick. If you had something you want to add, go ahead, King.
Come on, man. Hey, appreciate bringing that out, man, because a lot of us ain't educated about, the stay on your ground law. And you got, especially you brothers and sisters that stay in Florida, you got to understand, man, and it's everywhere. No matter where you go, look, they'll use the stand in your ground law, right. You could be right in front of a grocery store, and the lady decides she want to shoot you. They'll probably use it right then. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what these evil people got intent to do. You know what I'm saying? But for you brothers and sisters that's in Florida and elsewhere, man, educate yourself on these laws, man, because for real, this is what happens when you start to want to be next to your enemies. These things come against you. Let me bring out this scripture right quick, man. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 8, man. Because, a lot of our people, man, get a little cheese. Like the sister, she probably had, good finances. And she decided to move next door to Esau, thinking that that's going to take care of her because she leaving the hood. But you ain't escaping Jack. You ain't escaping nothing. You still, in fact, you make yourself more of a target now. You might have to dodge bullets here and there when Jake trying to shoot one another. Not saying it's right. You know what I'm saying? You may have to deal with the sirens day and night. But when you go next to Esau, man, you make yourself a direct target. They're going to take your house. They'll take your life from you. Let's get that scripture, King. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 8.
All right. The book of Hosea chapter 12, verse 8. And Ephraim said, yet I am become rich. I have found me out substance. In all my labors, they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin.
And that's what our people say. Even though this talking about Ephraim, but this go for everybody. This go for all Israel. Israel, we're quick to say, I have become rich and I have found me out a substance. In all my labors, they shall find none iniquity. So we thinking, look, if I can, since I'm successful, I can live right next to my enemies and they won't find my iniquity. No, it don't matter. No matter where you go, you still a nigga. You still an Israelite no matter where you go, and these curses going to pursue you as the book of Deuteronomy 28 says. You know, it no matter where you go, your enemy's going to be on you, like we always use, like a lion chasing a gazelle. You know, and that Shedamite, that Karen, she tried her best to take this sister down. So this sister's been there, you know it. She even bothered the sister kid. Who bothered kids, man? Yeah, we see the little crazy little, you know, probably gonna be a little Jeffrey Dahmer growing up white boy in the neighborhood. We don't bother him, man. Jake, we don't have no reason to, you know, saying attack the white boy. We the little white kid. You know what I'm saying? You know, let him go about his business, man. You know, Lord preserve him for one day for judgment. But yet Esau, he want to take judgment now. She-sau, she want to take judgment now in her own hands, man. You know, she want blood right then.
That's right.
But that's what the Lord going to do for. They're going to bring blood back to them. It's another article, King.
Yeah, it just the article that actually went with that video and probably got a little more detail in it.
Come on, bring it out.
All right. It says a mother of 4 was shot and killed in Florida following a long time feud. So this was nothing new. This was a feud that was ongoing between the sister AJ and this woman, the Shedamite. A long time feud with a neighbor who had complained about the victim's children playing outside. Authorities and a family attorney said deputies responded to a trespassing call Friday night and found one woman suffering from a gunshot wound. Marion County, Florida, Sheriff Billy Wood said in a Monday news conference. So I just want to point this out as well for my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. Friday sundown and Saturday sundown is what is considered in the scriptures as the Sabbath, a day of rest. No strife, no working, no buying, no selling. It's the Sabbath day. We're supposed to be relaxing, regrouping, you know. But on this particular night, this sister, not knowing who she is or what she's supposed to be doing, she went over there with contention, trying to get some get back, get some answers, get some straightening, however you want to look at it. But she went over there on the Sabbath and broke the Sabbath by dealing with that. Now, yes, we supposed to avenge our people, you know what I'm saying? But it's a time and a place to do everything. You know what I'm saying? And because she didn't know who she was and how to handle that situation, this is the result of it. And this is why we aim to do these classes, to teach our brothers and sisters what's going on in this world and why things happen. Because our people just react off emotions and do things without thinking. And you see what the story is. But I'm going to keep reading. It said the victim was identified by authorities as Ajit or A.J. Owens. She was 35. The shooter, also a woman, engaged with Owens' children and threw a pair of skates, hitting the children. Now, this woman out of order as well.
Hell yeah.
Throwing skates at kids. Said the sheriff said a witness told police there had been a dispute over a child's electronic tablet device prior to the shooter throwing a skate at the children, according to an incident report from the sheriff's office. Following that interaction, one of the children went back inside their home and told their mother, who went to the neighbor's home to confront the lady, the sheriff said. According to the shooter, there was a lot of aggressiveness from both sides, as well as threats being made, and Owens was ultimately shot through the door, Wood said. Witnesses told authorities Owens went to the shooter's home and knocked on the door before she was shot, according to the incident report. Owens was later pronounced dead at the hospital, authorities said. The woman who fired at Owens has been cooperating with law enforcement, the sheriff added. No arrests have been made in the case. Authorities have not named the shooter or shared any identifying information. You see how crazy that is? How you shoot this woman, everybody know how old she is, how many kids she had, what she did, but you ain't named the shooter. You ain't told the woman age.
And so like, you feel me? I'm sorry, King. And you know, they acting like she's a younger woman. You know, usually when kids do crimes, they don't use the name, they don't show the face, none of that because of the kid's age. But in this case, this is an elderly white woman, and they supposed to show her name and her face.
Right.
But they have been trying to hide her because you know what time it is. They don't want the retaliation to be, well, sis, this lady right here, she stays right here. They don't want nobody marching or protesting or telling her, hey, look, good, get out that house, and we're gonna arrest you. They don't want none of that. They don't want no backlash. So they're gonna protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is sick, bro.
Let me keep reading. It says, but civil rights attorney Ben Crump, one of the attorneys representing the family, identified her as a white woman. According to a news release from his office Monday, the incident report also described the shooter as a 58-year-old white woman. So the sheriff department or whoever, the authorities were not going to release her name or what she looked like. It was up to the attorney who was representing civil rights. He put it out there. Otherwise, the authorities in charge were not going to do that. That's wicked as hell, man.
Wicked, bro. Wicked. I tell you, man. Hey, they didn't even describe what race she is. They just said a woman shot another woman. We can't put her face up or her name. Come on, man. Even if the person was justified for what they did, still put the name up,
Right.
Still show what race they was or whatever, describe and show the description. But that's what they do for their own. And Eve, you got to understand, you got to stay away from them, man. You got to stay away from your enemies. If not, you're going to continue to go through these things. I'm gonna bring out that Jeremiah 50:7, King.
All right.
Yeah, man. This is ridiculous, man. Go ahead, King.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 7, and it reads, all that found them, you know what? Yeah, I'll read it. Jeremiah 50, verse 7, all that have found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord. The habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers.
And this what this white woman said. I defended myself. It was my stand my ground law. She was on my porch. I didn't offend. Even though they said they got her, showing her she threw skates at her children, at the woman children, harassing her children. We think that you harass somebody's children, they think they're going to stand there and not say anything. They're going to come and see about it, But I didn't offend her. I didn't do anything to do anything for her to come at me like that, to confront me. I had to shoot and defend myself. Man, wicked, bro. Straight wicked.
That's right.
It says, and all that found them devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not. And they, listen, anytime you are next to your enemies, don't care if you want to take a picnic, go out to eat with your enemies, they're going to find a way to devour you. Best believe they might not do it right then. They might not do it, tomorrow. But they'll find a way. They'll find a way to devour you. Best believe that. It's just sad how we got to continue to see how these Shedemites to love to take down our communities. And they were so against Jake. But Eve, you got to understand, the white woman just don't hate Jake. She'll just hate the man. She hate you too.
That's right.
And more so you. And you like to get next to her and think she cool. The reason why she hates you too, because, hey, look, a lot of you sisters are successful. And a lot of you sisters, you do handle your business when it come down with the family. Even though she needed a husband at the house. Because if her husband was there, she should have had her husband take care of that issue. But this is what happens when you start to want to integrate, and migrate with your enemies. This is sad. This beautiful sister had to go through this, get slain by an enemy for nothing, for trying to protect their children. Ridiculous, dog. Ridiculous. We got one precept. I got one more if you got one.
Go ahead, Ken.
Come on, man. Let's get Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 52. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 52 through 54. you know, because Esau, man, I'm saying he, because we so used to saying he, but it's she. You know, it's always been she, man. I'm sorry, she's always been there. These Shitamites always been in the midst of the killing and the robbing our lives. You know, they always been there. You know, look, we all know what happened to Black Wall Street. Edomite was there, claimed somebody, raped her. It's always something. You know, it's always a Karen somewhere. Let's bring it out. The book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 52.
All right. The book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 52. Mine enemies chase me sore like a bird without cause.
Like a what?
Like a bird without cause.
They chased us like a bird without cause. I mean, listen, that woman was harassing his sister left to right. That's why they said he had so many police calls. You know, this sister probably was minding her business because she understands, like we all know, you stand next to the white people, you better be in your best behavior. If not, they gonna call the police. They gonna start some shit. Excuse my language. You know. Continue, King.
All right. Verse 53. They have cut off my life in the dungeon and cast a stone upon me.
They have cut off my life in the dungeon and cast a stone upon me. Listen, these people always quickly to cut off our life. You know, for no reason, man. They have no reason, no excuse to cut up our life. But they always seem to cut up our life for what? For no damn reason. You know, meaning the sister just went over there to talk to her about the issue that she probably been having with them, with this lady in particular. And they don't even tell the lady name. That's the sad part about it. They don't even tell the lady name. She committed a crime. They leave her name out of it. This is sick. But we got to come out of her. We got to come out of America. Brothers and sisters, depart from this wicked woman. Get away from Esau and She-sau, okay? If not, you're going to still and always experience the Karen effect. My name is Brother Yakub.
I'm Brother Ananias.
And with that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
Shalom.